The Titanic's tragic sinking on April 15, 1912, claimed over 1,500 lives and cemented its place in history. But here's a twist straight out of a mystery novel. Some believe it wasn't the Titanic that sank at all, but its sister ship, the Olympic. According to this wild theory, the White Star Line masterminded an insurance scam, swapping the ships and deliberately sinking the damaged Olympic under the guise of the Titanic. While debunked time and again, this conspiracy refuses to sink, continuing to intrigue and baffle many. Let's dive into the details of this peculiar myth and unravel the evidence, claims, and counterarguments. The Titanic Olympic Conspiracy. The conspiracy theory centers on the idea that the Titanic and the Olympic were switched before the Titanic's maiden voyage. White Star Line, facing financial losses after the Olympic collided with the HMS Hawke in 1911, allegedly swapped the identities of the two ships to orchestrate an insurance fraud. Proponents argue that the damaged Olympic was deliberately sunk under the guise of the Titanic to claim a substantial insurance payout. Supporters of the theory cite the ship's near-identical design as evidence of a possible switch. However, skeptics question the plausibility of such an elaborate plan, given the logistical challenges and lack of compelling motive. The physical similarities between Titanic and Olympic. The Titanic and the Olympic were both part of White Star Line's Olympic-class liners and shared many similarities in design and construction. They were nearly identical in size, with the Titanic being only a few inches longer. Both ships featured luxurious interiors and state-of-the-art technology for their time. These similarities form the foundation of the conspiracy theory. Photographic evidence is often used to support the theory. For instance, early photos of the Titanic show 14 portholes on its bow, but later images appear to show 16, matching the Olympic. Additionally, the arrangement of windows on the Titanic's B deck resembled the Olympic's irregular spacing, rather than the Titanic's reported even spacing. While these observations are intriguing, they can be explained. Ships often undergo modifications during construction or repair, which could account for changes in porthole numbers and window arrangements. Furthermore, the Titanic's wreck, discovered in 1985, contains definitive identifiers unique to the Titanic, including its yard number, 401. Was it about insurance? At the heart of the conspiracy is the claim that White Star Line orchestrated the switch for financial gain. The Olympic's collision with the HMS Hawke in 1911 caused significant damage, leading to expensive repairs and loss of revenue while the ship was out of service. The theory suggests that White Star Line, unable to recoup its losses, devised a plan to sink the Olympic, disguised as the Titanic, to collect a large insurance payout. However, this argument falls apart upon closer inspection. The Titanic was underinsured. Its construction cost £1.5 million, but it was insured for only £1 million. This underinsurance would have resulted in a financial loss for White Star Line, undermining the supposed motive for the conspiracy. Additionally, historical records show that the company was not in financial distress at the time, further weakening the argument for an insurance scam. J.P. Morgan's role in the conspiracy. The involvement of J.P. Morgan, the powerful banker who owned White Star Line's parent company, International Mercantile Marine Company, is another key aspect of the theory. Morgan had reserved a suite on the Titanic, but canceled his trip at the last minute, citing health reasons. Conspiracy theorists claim that Morgan's cancellation was no coincidence. They alleged that he knew about the planned sinking and avoided the voyage intentionally. Supporters also suggest that Morgan orchestrated the disaster to eliminate rivals who opposed the creation of the Federal Reserve. However, this claim lacks evidence. Morgan's health was indeed failing. He passed away less than a year later in 1913. Furthermore, there is no record of his alleged rivals Isidor Strass, John Jacob Astor, and Benjamin Guggenheim opposing the Federal Reserve. In fact, Strass had publicly supported it. The role of the SS Californian. The SS Californian, a ship in the area during the Titanic's sinking, plays a central role in the conspiracy. Its captain, Stanley Lord, faced criticism for failing to respond to the Titanic's distress signals. The theory claims that the Californian was stationed nearby, ready to rescue passengers after the planned sinking. It is also alleged that the ship carried extra blankets and clothing, further fueling suspicions. In reality, the Californian's actions were less nefarious. The ship was immobilized by ice, preventing it from navigating safely. Its wireless operator had turned off the radio for the night, missing the Titanic's distress calls. The crew misinterpreted the Titanic's flares as celebratory fireworks, leading to inaction. These facts suggest incompetence rather than complicity. Examining the Titanic wreckage. The discovery of the Titanic wreckage in 1985 by Robert Ballard and his team provided indisputable evidence that the ship lying at the bottom of the North Atlantic Ocean is indeed the Titanic, not the Olympic. One of the most significant pieces of evidence is the presence of yard number 401, which was the unique identifier assigned to the Titanic during its construction. This number is stamped on numerous parts of the wreck, leaving no ambiguity about the ship's identity. Furthermore, recovered artifacts such as furniture, decorative elements, and internal fixtures perfectly match the Titanic's documented specifications, designs, and passenger accommodations, reinforcing the conclusion. The physical condition of the wreck also contradicts the conspiracy theory that the ship was the damaged Olympic. The structural damage observed on the wreck is entirely consistent with the ship striking an iceberg, as detailed in survivor accounts and historical records. This includes the tearing and buckling of the hull plates near the bow, a type of damage that would not align with the nature of the collision the Olympic experienced with the HMS Hawk. Moreover, the rusticles, or rust formations, found on the wreck provide further evidence of its long submersion since 1912, and their growth patterns match the timeline of the Titanic sinking. Together, these findings provide irrefutable proof that the ship at the bottom of the Atlantic is indeed the Titanic, leaving no room for the ship swap conspiracy theory. Logistical challenges of the switch. Switching the identities of two massive ocean liners, such as the Titanic and the Olympic, would have been an extraordinarily complex and resource-intensive undertaking. To make the Olympic convincingly pass as the Titanic, White Star Line would have needed to alter thousands of components, ranging from nameplates to structural fittings, all of which bore unique identifiers, like the yard numbers assigned to each ship during construction. This process would have required not only the physical labor of hundreds, if not thousands, of workers, but also intricate planning to ensure consistency across every visible and functional part of the ship. Additionally, the sheer scale of the operation would have made it almost impossible to keep such a massive conspiracy a secret, especially with so many people involved, including shipbuilders, engineers, and dock workers. Another significant challenge lies in the timeline. Historical records show that the Titanic and the Olympic were in the same dock together for only 5 days in March 1912. This short window of time would have been grossly insufficient for executing the extensive modifications required for the switch. Thanks for watching. If you still think the Titanic was really the Olympic, well, I've got a bridge to sell you. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more fun debunking stories. And who knows, maybe next time we'll solve why Jack didn't just share the door.